keep telling myself there's always a slip and I'm unsure why. Though in most ways, living in a surreal divide between reality and aggravated fantasy doesn't help contrast that notion much. Inconsistent vibes and vices, and they're always never a sure thing for me. This is what comprises my life. When I woke this morning, I had an aching in my stomach that was most likely bloated gas pain. Unpleasant but necessary for my journey through this thing. I've since learned to accept the growing pains throughout the later years of my life. Blind acceptance and acting as a martyr for some unknown purpose. Moving throughout days trying to get ahead while seeking guidance under watchful eyes. And myself, my own eyes and my mind's eye. Vanity only exists there, which is defined as the self and semi-narcissist for me. So it's not unreasonable that I'm a little pissed at everything and everyone else in the world. The machine which thrives off of an inconclusive repertoire of bullshit and excuses. Received and given from all angles. Hidden desires by others who wish to strip me of my worth. Idiocy in full bloom like ecosystem-damaging weeds. And that's how today's going so far. I checked my online investment again. These fucking crypto idiots seem to lose their shit when a dip occurs in the price. The ones who are so steadfast when things are going well but quick to panic and develop unhealthy levels of stress when even the slightest issue arises. As well as those that aren't even issues, but minutia is a curious thing to pick at. And so they pick at each other. And at meaningless tangents of detoured bullshit leading into more bullshit. Rotating conversations on repeat like a madman loop with the typical commentary, buy high and sell low with FOMO and FUD. So why do I even bother checking the chat and posts? I only care about the price. I only care if it skyrockets and I can profit. It's not like I have that much to give, but I live in a gambler's paradise, and that's really the only refinement I can take from it, and that I might hit it big. I guess that makes me one of those degenerates. Fuck that. I have to provide other avenues for myself. I need to stay busy and active within my mind, or I will fail. I've seen it all too much. With others, and as vagrants who walk the streets talking to themselves, having conversations with inanimate objects and attempting to pick invisible things up off the ground. I could see myself in that light easily, and therefore I need to stay resilient in my efforts to retain a sound mind and somewhat healthy body. I must admit, I let myself go some years back. I was more studious then and apt to succeed. So what exactly happened? I couldn't say for sure. Isolation from society helps, or hurts. I'm not sure, to be honest, but it clearly does something. I could have sworn I'd be able to adapt alright. Such is not the easiest case, and so I find myself attempting to reflect on better, or purer times. Not that it helps me now. I think it has something to do with my upbringing, perhaps. I was raised an only child and in a good suburban home. My parents owned a general supply business, and it was during the rise of the video game era. It worked out for them to throw numerous systems and games at me, as I was a latchkey kid who stayed mostly out of trouble. Mostly. While the characters and stories from digital interactivity were, in a way, my second family. Folks never played with me as they were very busy running the business of putting food on all our plates. However, they threw me into many activities that usually didn't last past the season. Acting class, swimming, piano, karate, soccer, book club. I had no real desire to pursue any of them, so I preferred the recreation of video games in my imagination. I am almost certain I had some imaginary friends here and there. Academically, in my early school years, I excelled in most fields of study independently, but was so damn lazy that I didn't even do my homework, and therefore giving me less than average grades at private schools my parents had enrolled me in. Well, not true. Apparently homework was a lot easier and quicker to finish up to about 6th grade. Middle and high school shit done love to get complex with more papers and shit. Assholes. So, what was it that made this person I am go awry? I think it could be related to gifted child syndrome. There were such high hopes for me, and I squandered almost all opportunities for myself. I lacked a certain sense of empathy and human connection, but that's not to say I didn't gain it later. I was not a complete oddball, as I had friends throughout the school years, although maybe it was a collective oddball group. It could have also been that I was the oddball within the collective oddball group, come to think of it, and it didn't affect me. It wouldn't affect me. I'm a lone wolf by nature and prefer silence over the prattling of someone else that just might make me nauseous. So it makes sense that I lost contact with most friends, even true friends, for my own selfish desires or impelled means of forgetting. Making new friends just seems hard, time-consuming, and not worth the effort. I'm truly not interested or invested, and I had been doing just fine on my own without conversations and misaligned personalities. I'm not antisocial, but I just like most people. Does that make sense? I'm not trying to put on a face. There are days when I'll make my attitude presently known. I don't like being fake, but I've had to be many times in my life. This social concept of competitive status racing towards the newest material object, place, or being that is only scaled by money. I try not to be that way, but growing up slightly spoiled has made it more difficult to appreciate such basic faculties of thought. So I've become a master at being phony. Although I hate such a skill, yet I love being good at it. I huff on my nails for exploiting such fantastic endeavors by my own creativity, then I cry for being a piece of shit. Then I do it all over again, day in and day out. I want to believe I'm edging for normality with a moral high ground. However, the more I continue life, the more I feel as though my moral high ground is almost a 180-degree difference from anyone else's. These fucking tools are governed by money, and I will never let myself get to that point. This is what I say to myself while scrolling through the crypto chat, hoping, wishing, praying for more money. As you can already tell, I'm a pretty obvious hypocrite, even in my own mind. Nothing can stand in the way of that stubborn output, despite you calling me out on it. I'd just as soon snap and make you want to change the subject or run away. I'm not a hypocrite. Okay, maybe a little. This one time I yelled at a little girl for cutting in line to be with her friend at an ice cream store, when I actually did the same thing that day with my own friend when we were in our 20s. I didn't realize until after the scene with her crying and me being scolded that she had just only gone to the bathroom and was already in line before I cut it in line. I ended up saying, okay, it was an accident, but I never apologized. That's a sign of vulnerable weakness. I was getting hungry right then and there. I hadn't eaten anything since yesterday's lunch, and I didn't really feel like playing any competitive first-person shooter tournaments today anyway. So I had the time to dick around and waste away and make nothing of myself for my remaining days, leaving no valuable footprints to stumble upon for experience knowledge, no legacies to call my own, and pass down what stupid information lies within the misshapen sphere sitting atop my shoulders. Well, enough about that. Back to food. What should I get? I don't feel like spending money, but I probably will do it anyway. It all comes and goes, all of it, even sanity to a degree. Temporary lapses here and there. I want to say it only occurs during sleep, but lately it doesn't seem so. Have you ever lived to a point where life seems a blur? It sucks. I don't know how my folks do it nearing 80. $25 for a shredded beef burrito and a horchata to be delivered. Fuckstick dealings are these. I was pissed. I worked so hard for it to just be thrown down the drain to eat some processed garbage handled in the back of the kitchen by God knows who doing God knows what with my food. Secret sauce and sour cream from whatever orifices, contaminated with the acne cells of careless teens, to ingest trillions of microbes from other sources in the blink of an eye. Disgusting. What is wrong with this world? To be fair, I think I'm just hangry. I've eaten at a D-rated restaurant downtown before, saw bugs and rat shit inside, all while consuming, and even got sick after. Still went back a second time to test and got the same regrets. I'm banking on a third, well, because I don't really know, but this is all really reaffirming my hunger. I placed a $25 order, which ended up being $28 because of the fucking garbage. Today is the start of my true weekend. For some reason, the universe, or God, has granted me allowance to a decent job and a badass schedule. I work as an information technology technician for a small but reputable networking firm. The best part is I work a 4-10 schedule on a 40-hour work week from home. So you know, Monday through Thursday, 10-hour work days apiece for all you non-corporate America folk. I remotely fix issues via troubleshooting, resetting and updating systems, and I generally have very little phone interaction with human beings. It seems like a lot, but from the comfort of home while racking up income, full benefits, and retirement options, I'm not complaining. Can't beat that, and I have pandemics and societal lockdowns to thank. Okay, I retract that. It was a bit insensitive, and I'm not insensitive or uncompassionate. The pandemics have killed millions, and I'm not attempting to glorify that. Or maybe. Okay, look, I just consider myself lucky, okay? I'm a high-risk individual with some heart murmur shit going on, and I stayed inside and never caught that fucking thing. So, you know, others kind of died, and I kind of lived. Yes, I'm aware it can be dark. Darker than a motherfucker. However, not without purpose. Exploration of the depth of my mind. I have creative outlets, though, so I channel that way. My catharsis is propelled by the tools I create with, whether it's music or art, or solving a puzzle, or even managing work tasks. I feel as though this keeps my behavior on the good polarity of my psyche. The darkness, though, it all stems from humor and other fascinations. Sure, I enjoy reading about serial killers, conspiracies, and mysteries. Doesn't mean I'll go about committing any heinous acts of maliciousness or senseless violence. To the best of my current status of thought progression in this moment here and now. Although, my self-competitive nature might defy that last statement. I couldn't be swayed by the Manson family had I lived in that era. My ego would have not allowed it. You ever think about starting or joining a cult just for the fuck of it? I've been down that slimy brick road too often in my mind. I gotta wonder if there's some recovery class for me, since clearly the desire to join or start a cult is there, but the initiative to take action and commit like there was no tomorrow isn't. Sounds like a quitters club, if anything, and I should not be surprised if that club has no members after a little while. My delivery was going to be about 25 minutes, and I needed to bide my time. Porn didn't seem like a valid idea at the moment, and I didn't feel sexually aroused, and actually hadn't in a week or so. It's quite odd, as if my sexual thoughts are slowly dismantling from my stream of consciousness. My poor, debauched computer folder has not been touched in some time, which is what seems to be happening with my genitals. Come to think of it, what the hell have I been doing with my time? This recent blur in life has seemingly jarred my absolute definition of what my existence actually is. As if most of my memories have locks on them to prevent me from viewing them, or maybe as though they never existed to begin with. Then again, I know it has been some years since the pandemic, but life before that was a past one, so recent memories only exist in one place in this life. That doesn't make sense. Stupid ought to come after this one. Damn! Pain in my chest. Thankfully, it was only a little cramp and went away after a moment, but it's one of those real fears I recognize without hesitation. It's that fucking heart condition or some shit. I can't remember what it is, honestly. Dude, some rare disorder, I don't know. I haven't told anyone. It was from my last physical some years ago during the most recent global viral pandemic. The lockdown regulations aided to keep away from crowds, chiefly if you're at high risk, and most especially for those with heart conditions, so I listened. I didn't really want to die yet. I don't want to die now, and even years later the damn virus is still going on out there. You know, the one that kills people by the thousands? Sorry. Got morbid there again. Unintentional, but conversations in my brain always seem to lean in that direction. Genocide is one hell of an intrusive thought pattern, let me tell you. Whenever there is an opportunity similar to, that's what she said, genocide loves to work its way in the composition of the next thought. The frequency is damn near getting to be all the time. Let's have a change of pace here. A fine tune to ease the mood. I had to grab my acoustic guitar hanging on the wall at first sight. The beautiful name brand that I won't state, as I don't believe in giving anyone an edge. Nature sure as fuck didn't. Back to the guitar though. Why didn't I play this more? I'm not sure. That's not true. I play often. Well, I used to. I still do. Kind of. Not really. Though, maybe I did recently, but no, actually not. I believe anyways, or at least surely this I think positively maybe. Then again, I'm also just sitting with it here in my lap right now. I could play it, but then what if I become distracted by something else while I'm trying to find fulfillment in it? I don't believe I have it in me right now to consider playing it, knowing that I could have my enjoyment stolen from me like a thief in the night. Heavy is the head that wears the crown. But that has nothing to do with guitar playing, right? Or left? Am I staring at something? How long